feeling pretty disconnected from you. And, I'm hesitant to get into a podcast, although that might end up being the most powerful, most helpful podcast for people. But I'm kind of stopping myself or holding myself from going there because I don't know that I feel like fully prepared to go there.
On the podcast or at all?
Period. Meaning if I thought I was in tip top shape to address it, then the recording role. Yeah, it's just that usually we're so obviously it fluctuates here and there, but generally just feel very connected to you, and I haven't been. It really stands out.
I mean, what's the conversation, though?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess I'm not I guess I'm asking if you're initiating a conversation and what you're not really saying anything, and you also said that you don't necessarily wanna or feel prepared to have the conversation. I'm not addressing a conversation, and, like, I feel what you feel, but I'm not wanting to talk about it. Not like I won't talk about it if you wanna talk about it, but I'm not. Like, for me, I'm just noticing and being in it, and there's a lot moving through me aside from just with you, just in general in my own system, in my own life. So, not that it's not a priority, but I feel okay giving it more space, you know? I feel, like, safe enough to just be like, give it space, give it and there's something in the disconnection that I think is serving me a little bit also. I don't know what that is, but it's like, I don't know if it's healthy or not. I know there's a lot, like I already told you a little bit, there's a lot, like, going on for me. There's a lot that I'm feeling that I didn't allow myself to feel for many years, or my whole life. Kind of wanna allow those all to come up, you know? So it's like and a little bit of, like, a side effect of that is that I'm feeling a little bit more frustrations towards you. You're feeling that. It's creating a little more distance, and, like, trying to fix that feels silly to me. It's like, what am I trying to fix? Like, just let it be. This is what it is. This is what I stopped from happening by not feeling it, and now this is just what it is, right? Like, just give it I just wanna give everything breathing room, on my end, like, not freak out and not force and not be like, "Oh, no, but we're so good, like, we have to be connected," you know? And I definitely have that part that usually comes on, but I don't feel like I need that. I don't feel like I need to be connected to you right now. I don't feel like I wanna be connected to you right now so much, you know? From my initiation to you, I'm open to whatever you want to bring in or talk about or ask about or share. It's interesting because I know this, like, I don't know, whatever, judgments, but it's like I think with growth, like when I stopped working with my therapist and then I had like a 3-month break or whatever. And in that time, I did like a few different medicine ceremonies and other things. And I came back to work with her again and I had totally grown out of that relationship. It was like it just my newer self was and she was expecting that person and it was, and so I feel a little bit like not that I've grown out of our relationship, but I'm like this sort of more healed or like more parts online or more awake version of me is like assessing like, wait a minute, like, but what's here? What is this dynamic? What do you offer me? What do I want from you? What does feel good? What doesn't feel good? And there's a little bit of that going on where I'm like more awake and less needy, less needing you because I'm so to soothe my father wound or to soothe less needing you and therefore needing that closeness and prioritizing that closeness over feeling my frustrations. And that's really what was safe for me. And obviously there's so many it's just a spectrum, right? Like in a marriage, right? There's like versions of that which are like so unhealthy that like are completely and totally codependent and enmeshed and versions of our, when we first got married or other people's situations that are like, where you're totally overriding all of your boundaries and wants and needs because you need that closeness and you're prioritizing that over everything else. And obviously, I don't think we do that much anymore, but like everything that goes around and comes around, there's always bits of it and pieces of it and energies of it and parts of it where you kind of like, we have Yom Kippur every year. We have this every year where it's like you take a counting, you take a cleansing, you take a, you know, and so I feel a little bit like I'm in a little bit of that space where it's like some of the things that the ways that you're showing up for me are not so okay with me or are hurting me. And in the past, I didn't really make a big deal about it because closeness was more important. Focusing on everything that was good is more important. And at this moment, or in this week, or in this season, or whatever it is, I'm feeling those things. And closeness is not more important than my own self, my own inner child, my own pains that are really real, that I'm feeling, that I'm upset with you about, that I'm disappointed by, that I feel neglected by, that I feel abandoned by, that I feel hurt. And I don't think it's a strategy, although I do check myself. Like, do you think that the only way you could get what you want is by like pushing him away so he'll change? Like, is like I'm checking myself. Like, are you like giving him, are you being distant and like a little standoffish because like you won't tolerate this and you want to like kind of be a little manipulative for the change you want? And it doesn't feel like, like I know that I could have that sometimes. It doesn't feel like I'm doing some sort of like ultimatum or, trying to get you to be. It just feels like I'm just really feeling what's here.
Yeah. It's just, it was resonating. But everything you were saying before is resonating also, even though it's hard to hear, especially like the earlier part, like just even the words like, I don't feel that it's a priority to be connected to right now. I totally get what you're saying. Like just even hearing those words, it does hurt a little, you know? But I totally get what you're sharing. Yeah, I agree with you that things do come back around and like it's on different layers and different levels. And I do agree also that you would override that for the sake of connection. Although actually, in thinking about it now, I would put it differently. I wouldn't say you overrode it for the sake of connection. I think you overrode it for the sake of avoiding pain. I don't think it was for connection.
Right.
And
Well,
it's
for
connection
feeling connected to you, which
would
then
disconnect you from yourself.
which will then soothe me and soothe my pain. So, yeah.
Right. But it wasn't for the sake of connection, purely for the sake of connection.
Right.
It was, yeah, it was an evasion of pain.
Well, it can't be for the sake of connection. That's purely connection. You're ignoring your pain to have the connection. Meaning I'm literally saying the same thing. I'm saying that I was overriding the pain to have the connection, and you're saying, "Well, it wasn't purely for the sake of connection." It's like, well, yeah, that kind of is what that sentence means, that wasn't for the sake of connection. I mean, whatever. Anyways, a little confusing, but yeah,
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm
it's
just,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's just highlighting. It's
yeah,
just using more words to extend out that essential point
yeah,
because that might not be clear
right.
in saying that. It sounds like I really love connection. That's all I really
Mhm.
care about. And that wasn't your motivation. Your primary subconscious motivation in the connection was to disconnect from self.
Why do we
And now when you're saying you're not prioritizing connection, the thing that immediately came to my mind is you are prioritizing connection with yourself, with your
mm,
feelings, with your pain. It's not like you're not prioritizing connection. You're not prioritizing sex. You're not prioritizing vibing with me, you know? But you are prioritizing connection. And actually, that's where if there's going to be any depth of intimacy and connection between us, it's going to come from your allowing yourself to feel the full depth of your pain and pains about our relationship. It's not just like
yeah,
your earlier relational wounding. It's that and that segues seamlessly into your adult relationship, our relationship. So it's all connected.
yeah. I mean, I've our life has been my life has been pretty intense. Our life together was pretty intense from the get-go, getting pregnant right away, being severely, severely nauseous, so being married a week and then being basically a different person, and then having our first child, which was a whirlwind, to say the least. It was not an easy experience and was a really, really serious initiation into parenthood, like nobody's fucking business, like, is just a lot, and that really required between our marriage and children, I was surviving, and, then we had then I don't wanna, like, smush everything, then you had your back pain, and we were separated, and then got pregnant right away again, getting back together, like a repeat of our original situation, which is in general, when you have your eyes open to things, Hashem is constantly giving you repeated situations so you can show up differently, so you can, I don't know what the word is, rectify or just whatever it is, the past experience, and go deeper and rise above. And the word I'm looking for is not heal, but it's like
Rectify?
I said rectify right away, but it's
I
more
think you said
like
repentify.
I said rectify. Uh, um, but it's like alchemize it's like where you
Mm,
have the opportunity to
yeah, to
transform, transform it and to uplift it and to it's not just like whatever. You basically
alchemize, yeah,
yeah, you're being given an opportunity again to the materials are there. Are
mm,
you gonna now
the raw
build a
material.
rocket ship
Yeah, what are
with
you gonna
it,
do with
or
it?
are you gonna just fall over again and then Hashem's gonna give it to you again and again? And it's sometimes it doesn't look exactly the same, but sometimes it looks nearly identical where you're like, how am I here again? And it's like on the one hand, you could be a victim. You're like, here I find myself here again. Or you're like, oh my God, hell yeah. I'm
Yeah.
being given this exact moment again because now I have more tools, hindsight and whatever else with me that I can actually rise above it. And it's just such a powerful, powerful experience when you have even the awareness of like, wow, I'm here again. But how cool that now I can do it differently. So, whatever. Just that back to our stories, just that, I got pregnant right away again. All that came with that, so much blessing, but also it's a lot. And then um so much also navigating being back together, which it's not like when we got back together, that's the end, like we were learning on Shabbos, where the creation in 6 days is not completion. That's just completion of the initiation of it. And now we're continuing to create. And it was like we got back together. And then that whole year was like stepping and tripping and learning and growing and like some fear about like, ooh, like, anytime anything came up that was similar to anything in the past, it was like triggering and it was like very, very scary to be trying again. And it's like, ooh, did I make a mistake? Was it the wrong thing? Here we are, like just navigating each other and we weren't perfect and continuing we had
I
done
was, yeah. You weren't.
Are you serious?
No, I'm joking, but it is yeah, I'm being there's some truth to it, meaning you're talking for both of us, like, you're saying, like, when things would come up and they were triggering, it sounded like you were talking for both of us. That was not really my experience, I'm saying. I'd appreciate if you spoke more from your experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
you're, like, kinda giving, like, an objective overview
mm,
of our relationship, but that doesn't resonate, like, I didn't have that same process as you had to the same degree, or even not even the same degree, it just that wasn't my process.
okay. I experienced it that way for both of us, but obviously that's my experience, so I can speak more for myself, but I
Mhm.
experienced that from you, and there were specific situations and incidents and things, and I think you had done more healing than me, so in that sense, I'm totally with you, but in the sense that for the overall thing that I'm saying, which whatever, I could speak for myself, but it's just I'm setting a little bit of like a just
Some
what
context.
it is when you're back together, where it's not like we got back together because we had addressed everything and because we had found peace and harmony and perfection. It was because it was a choice we made that what?
I'm listening to you, I'm just trying to try it on, it's
Yeah.
just some of this is just not
Okay.
resonating with me.
All right.
It's totally fine, but that's what the expression on my
Mm.
face is, like, trying to like, you were going and I was, like, following you, and I'm like, what you're saying fundamentally is true, but there's just so much nuance to it, and we had both different experiences of it. I think the main thing that I'm reacting to in what you said that doesn't
Mhm.
resonate with me is you said you were still trying to, like, figure out if this is what you want or whatever. It's like, that's not that part doesn't resonate with me at all. Not about you, about me. I
Well,
was
I
not trying to
agree with
figure
that.
out,
Yeah.
"Do I want this or
Yeah.
not?" There was no part of me that was like, "Did I make a mistake here?" So,
So, and that
that's the
resonates.
part
Okay,
that
and that
really does not
and
resonate
then
with me.
that I agree with completely. There were parts of me that were when I would experience things that were similar or felt similar in my own experience to things that were in the beginning of our marriage before our separation, there was parts of me that would freak out and feel like, "Oh no, is this gonna all become that all over again?" So
Yeah, that resonates. But that was your
so, yeah.
experience. Thank you, baby. Appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
talking for yourself.
Anyways, I'm just a little annoyed because like, this isn't even what I was just, like, trying to give, like, an overview. Like, if this is what we were talking about, then, like, fine, but, like, this ain't even we could start talking about this, but we could pivot, but I was just kinda just giving,
Yeah,
like, a
or you
little
could go
bit
back to your overview,
of
but
an
I
overview to get to what I wanted to say, but I guess this is the perfect example of what I'm saying, which is literally that even talking about some of our history is rocky. Uh, I think just, like, what I'm trying to say a little bit and how I opened up and saying it's not a priority and what I'm feeling right now is that you can't always do everything at once. Can't always manage, keep everything at like an even level in all areas of your life. Sometimes some things have to go way up on the scale and some things have to go way down. And it's scary. And there's something so much safer when you have, 10 glasses and you're keeping them all half full. So everything's kind of just like even and every area of your life is getting like addressed to this degree. And you're just, anytime something gets low, you go look at that and you fill it. Anytime something gets low and you just keep all, the 10 glasses represent like your 10 top priorities in life, right? Your kids, your health, your marriage, your family relationships, your whatever else, finances, your like whatever they are, it's like you want to be keeping them all kind of steady. And sometimes, not sometimes, often when one area really needs your attention and the only or one area is hurting or struggling, it needs more of your attention and often that's going to come from something else. I was like, come from something else, but that there's like a natural sort of turning away from something else to turn to that. And I think the healthier we are, the more safety we have, the more self energy we have, the more trust we have that, like, okay, yeah, I see that that thing over there is getting a little low, but I know that I'm tending to this right now and I feel safe enough to, stick with what I'm sticking with and see it through and that I'll get to everything else eventually or not, or whatever it is, it is. But this, I feel safe enough that not everything has to look perfect all of the time because I'm focusing on something that's important. And I definitely didn't have that safety where most of my life I felt like I was constantly just running from cup to cup to be like, oh, this is a little, okay, give to that. Oh, this is a little, give to that. This is a little, give to that. I was just, anytime anything felt like it was being neglected, it triggered this massive feeling of I'm a bad person, whatever, all the things that would flare up that would just be like everything's falling apart, nothing's under control, everything's going to be a disaster, doomsday, like just like all the triggers of things are going to explode. And so then that was so scary. So then I became like a little robot filling everything up and going from like, one thing to another and never really being able to really neglect anything or stick with any one part for too long, And so when you say you're feeling a little disconnected, and I know what my weeks have been like, I know where I am, I know the grieving that I'm doing and the pain that I'm feeling for things in my life that I've never felt. And it's like, it's hard when we're healing invisible wounds from our childhood when we're just an adult walking around this world. Whereas if somebody had a family member die or something else, there would be so much space to grieve and permission. And their spouse might not be saying, oh, wow, like what's going on with our sex life when someone's parent just passed away, God forbid. They would be like, oh my God, of course, this is the time to grieve. This is not the time. I mean, if you could take comfort in your spouse, amazing. But this isn't the time to freak out or be like, what about our connection? And just be like, give some space. She's grieving. And so I feel that for myself a little bit of like, when you say you're not feeling connected, I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I know that's mean. I don't really mean that, but I'm like, I don't really, that's not my priority right now. Like, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm in less pain than usual, ironically, because I'm not disassociated and numb, but I'm in more
Mhm.
tender, open hearted pain for things that I went through in my life, in my childhood, in my teenage years, and with you, and with you, because I never really grieved things that went on in our relationship. I was in fight or flight. And then when we were separated, I was also fighting you or trying to figure out what I should do. And in my head, being like, do I stay? Do I leave? And looking for the signs and being hyper vigilant and hyper alert, and then being also hyper responsible because I'm with the kids by myself for whatever amount of the time. And so like I wasn't grieving. I wasn't like, oh, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I was stronger than I ever was before. I had to be so much more resilient. I had to be even more in like fight or flight in a way, or fight. than ever. And so there was very little space in my life to take accounting and to, I won't say take accounting, but to really just reflect and feel and grieve and mourn anything. And I feel like I've created more safety to start to do that. And including some of those things, like I was saying, have to do with you. And so it's not just like I'm grieving my father wound, and I don't want to be connected to you. It's like, no, actually, like I didn't really give myself a lot of space and time to really feel how much you actually hurt me. I know it. And I've obviously like took action and filed for divorce and made it known that I wouldn't tolerate it anymore. And those were all just very like in my head things, or I don't know what it is. It's just like they're not necessarily in my body. They're very like just strong, proactive things that I did, but I didn't really feel just like how hard all of that was, all of it, and how devastatingly heartbreaking a lot of what we went through was, including some things that are even going on now, but like ways that I'm seeing that I'm just also not allowing myself to feel even some of the things that go on in a relationship that I wish were different or better, or areas I felt more supported or wish I had more. And in this allowing of the feelings and of my pain, there is a little bit of disconnection between us. And part of it, I think, is natural, like I said, 'cause it's focusing on other things. And part of it, I think, is probably a little bit of fear of like, I don't want to lose this connection that I have to my pain, and I'm worried that if like that I know that there's like a part of me that like glosses over it and it's just like, oh, love, 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 I love you so much, and then I'm scared that I will gloss over this again quickly, and I feel like I've opened something and I want to stay in it, and I don't want to just I don't want to be connected. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to be in the connection because the connection makes it cloudy for me to feel the pain. I don't think it has to be that way. I think you can be connected and feel the pain, but I'm just for me, I feel like a little scared to fall into old habits of pretending everything's fine and that nothing really, and I don't need the things that I'm actually hurting about because it's just that that's easier. But also hasn't really been like it hasn't really been easier because even though we are connected, there's a level that we aren't. And it's like what you're saying, because there's a level where I'm not really connected to myself and you feel that. But obviously, it's still in a relationship, it's still, like, soothing to be like, "Oh, yeah, we're so connected." But even if you think back on the ways we're connected, it's not really fully connected. It's just like a Band-Aid, not really a Band-Aid, that's, like, really a little harsh, but it's like, are we okay not being connected? Are we okay to each go into our little own spaces or own cocoons for a while and come back out? Are we okay with that? Are we safe with that? Is there space for that? I also don't think that your job when I'm going through this or vice versa, when you're going through something where you're in a more inward process is to pretend that you don't mind, you know? Like you could still know all this and be like, yeah, and I'm hurt that we're not connected, or I'm sad that we're not connected, or I wish we were connected. Like you don't have to pretend that just because you know and understand, you don't have to override yourself and your desires. Anyway, say something because if this becomes another podcast where I talk the whole time, I'm just going to start my own podcast.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. Can do
And
anything
and
without the
also
masculine container.
exactly, and also good luck with that.
I know, I'm just messing, I just want you to
You'll have
talk.
me come in, like, sit with you, then, like, start and then I leave, like, and you just edit me out. Good luck. Yeah, your own podcast. Yeah, wow.
Mm.
It's like everyone thinks, like, you getting married and, like, there's 2 portions of your life. You're like, your upbringing, your adolescence, like, your single years, and then, like, you get married and now, like, you've arrived somewhere when really the entire container of marriage is really to, like, take everything that happened up until the point of marriage and to alchemize it and to heal it and to use it as a catalyst for your own evolution. But it's like that's where I think there's so much pain and there's such a mismatch. I think especially for men is they get into marriage and they're like looking for the comfort. It's like I've arrived.
Now
Like
there's completion, 1 plus
yeah,
1 equals 2.
completion. Yeah, found my soulmate. I got my companionship. There's love. There's connection. There's witnessing. There's safety. I'm good now. I'm gonna get adoration. Right, honey, you look so good. You smell so good. Like you're so pleasing to me. And then you're literally met with almost like the exact opposite. I'm not saying there can't be some compliments in there, but like for every 1,000 compliments, one piece of criticism, right? Of like real feedback, let's call it, not even criticism, real feedback that touches a nerve is going to like override in a person's system all of the compliments and all of the lovey dovey vibes because all those lovey dovey vibes are just that. They're lovey dovey vibes. But that one reflection that actually touches the nerve and like starts to peek at the shame inside the man, it's like he wants to shut down the entire project. And he takes it personally and he's like, maybe I married the wrong woman. Like it's supposed to be a pleasure. It's supposed to be a vibe. It's supposed to be a flow. Yet I'm being met with so much resistance. Why the resistance? Why the resistance? It's not supposed to be like this. You're ruining my life. You literally, the person who I thought was going to bring me comfort is bringing me the deepest amount of pain that I've ever experienced in my entire life. No, thank you. Fuck you. You know? So it's like, I want connection, even though connection feels good, meaning overt connection, explicit connection, vibing, right? That's like an external part of the connection. It's kind of like the example you were giving of the cups that are filled with liquids to varying levels. Like, what if even one of those cups gets totally emptied out? Do you then say, well, we only have nine? There's only nine
Mm,
containers? No, the 10th is still a container, even if it's totally on empty. Like, you trust that there's still a container there and that energy can get, that container could get refilled with energy. So, my orientation towards marriage is that it's a container for this exact healing. Even though I want like all this, the wetness, right? I want all the juices. I want to see the liquid swooshing around and feeling it splashing up against my sides. And like, it's just, like obviously that's more enjoyable. That's more pleasurable. There's more security
mm,
there. There's more fun there.
mm,
But I know that this is the point of life and that it can only really happen in a safe and integrated and sustainable way through an intimate relationship. So it doesn't feel like disconnection. Now, if we weren't talking about the disconnection, we couldn't have a conversation about it, then it would start to feel much more uncomfortable. And there's no real we. I should just say, if I wasn't able to talk about it, which is exactly what I did, right? I opened this conversation saying, I don't feel connected to you. Now, if you were like, well, we can't talk about that, we can't talk about the disconnection in the relationship, then you're taking that vessel, that
mm.
10th vessel, and you're just
Smashing it.
smashing it. So connection, it's all connection, right? Like you're saying, well, I'm saying I don't feel so connected to you. And you're saying, yeah, 'cause I don't feel so connected to you either because I'm prioritizing my pain, which is just a way of saying I'm prioritizing connection, just not outwardly to you, inwardly to me. And your inward connection with self is what is the only thing that's going to enable the outward connection to me or the others or the world. So it's not connection versus disconnection. It's all connection. And it's all in service to evolution. Now, if I'm a junkie for external stimulation or
Mm.
feedback or confirmation or adoration or approval, then every single time that you withdraw into yourself, I'm going to look at you and say, you're hurting me. You're the source of my pain. How dare you take away my connection? Like you have to sacrifice
Why are you being so
yourself.
bitchy? Why are you being so cold?
Yeah, why do you got to be distant? Why you got to be cold? Why do you got to have your process? But like, don't let your process affect our relationship. It's
Mm.
like our relationship isn't separate from that process. Our relationship is literally the stage upon which that entire process is unfolding. It's not just the stage; it's literally the catalyst and it's the enabler. It's the only reason that have been able to go to any of those places. So now all of a sudden, I'm going to be like, well, that's in dissonance to our relationship. Like, get it together, girl. Figure yourself out because whatever process you're going through is getting in the way of our process.
Our
Like,
love.
yeah, our love. It's like, this is the process. Sorry.
Yeah.
And if anything, as a man, and I do feel this, even though, yeah, of course, like, again, on a external level, like, yeah, I'm a viber and I want to vibe and I want to feel connection and, intimacy and sensuality and sexuality and celebration. And we have a lot of that and it's great. And we vibe hard. Um, but this is another layer of it, and it's a
Mm.
layer that's more hidden from the eye, so it's got less flair, it's got less fireworks, it's a lot less maybe exciting, but the male vision, right, the masculine vision is to be able to see that which is not being presented so that I could continue to hold even that which you're not
Mm.
presenting to me, meaning
Yeah.
I'm holding the space for the invisible, not just for that which you present to me, not just your beauty and your love and your affection and your feminine light and energy that you bring to our home and to me and to my life. It's like, can I also continue to be the masculine containment and
Mhm.
hold the space for that which is beyond my eye, which is hidden from my eye, and maybe a step further actually feels personal and feels like just obviously very sensitive, and that's where I'm at with it. I want the connection, and I have the connection. I mean, and this conversation is proof of it. It's like
Mm.
that you're connecting with yourself is not in disconnection from me. We did have an experience of that, which is what you were talking about, which where you were more in fight or flight and through our separation and so on, and that was a different experience. That's not what I'm experiencing now.
Well, I have 2 things that are coming up. One is it's funny you're saying this because when you went to go make the coffee, I was thinking, is there a part of me that's also testing you?" Like, I was reflecting on everything I said. I'm like, "Is there a part of me that's also a little bit testing? Like, can you handle my distance?" I was, like, checking in, like, it's not so clear, but I was like, the part of me that's like, "I'm mad at you for some things. I'm in pain about some things. There's a lot here. Like, can you handle me my coldness?" My I don't know, call it, like, overt coldness, but,
Disappointment.
like, can you just handle my, moods? Basically, can you handle me, right? Because it's basically, like, the fullness of me is basically what the testing is, and then you sat down and you said that, which is that, you know, I'm looking for what you said of the masculine still being there with the container, even if the connection's not flowing, overtly, but, whereas there's 2 versions, there's, like, well, that's an aside, but this first, it was resonating with the testing thing because, like, I think there is a part of me that's like, will you still be okay? And will you still, is there space for this in our relationship? Or do like, you know, alarm bells start going off and then, you kind of subtly, directly, passively, whatever way, kind of signal like, get back in line. I'm testing, is there space where like we could still go on and there could still be love and there could still be respect and still be total routine of life. And I could be playing out this part of me, which is a part that I didn't get to play out a lot of my life. And, where it's just like not a vibe, not so fun, not so here, hurting, pain, a little bit moody, a little bit more, and is there space for that to last more than a day, right? Is there space for that to last for a season or whatever that is, where you still are okay, whatever that means? Or is there some sort of subtle messaging that I'm gonna be getting, which is like, enough. Okay, you had your day, you had your luteal phase, now come back into a happy wife, whatever. And even if like you would not say it in those words, obviously in marriage there's a lot of messaging going on and there's a lot of ways and it's like, oh, are you going to stop doing X, Y, and Z because I'm this way? Are you going to stop showing up in this way as you're going to start coming home a little bit later from work because anyways I'm not such like I'm kind of, I think there's definitely is a part of me that's like testing like what happens when I pull back on the connection a little bit, And that's really basically saying like, am I safe or not? Like, is this a relationship or not? Like, if when I pull back a little bit on the connection, you pull back, and then like what? Then we don't really have anything here. Like, we just have like a hollow, you know, whatever, empty balloon. Like, it's just, is there space for? And it goes both way.
A run of the mill marriage. I
Exactly.
mean, that's what most
Yeah.
marriages are.
And it goes both ways, but it definitely applies to the masculine more, and it's definitely more of a feminine need to feel the safety in the container of the marriage and then by nature testing it. And I don't even mean, right, there's like a little bit of like a negative, like,
Connotation to testing.
connotation to like testing. I don't even mean like, oh, testing, like being immature, like, manipulative. I just mean like, how do you know if something is what it is? You test it. You test the water if it's hot. You test the sound before we started this podcast. I don't mean testing I'm just mean like in actuality, like every once in a while, we got to kind of test where we are with ourselves, with our relationships, with our kids. Like, so there is a level that's going on for me that for sure is a level of testing. It's like, can you be okay when I'm frustrated with you? And so, yeah, it's cool that you're saying that. And you kind of picked up on that even without me saying it because I was thinking it. And the other thing I was thinking was, I lost it, like the clarity of it, but at what point do you, right? Because it's nice and fluffy when we're like, oh, I'm the man. My wife is going through a process. She's grieving her pains of her childhood. She's going through a process. I'm going to be the safety net. Even though she's not showing me connection right now, I'm still going to be here for her in whatever way that feels, aligned, blah, blah, blah. But it's overlapping to being upset with you. It's a lot harder to do that. And at what point does a person, like, is it valid to kind of like freak out a little bit? Be like, wait a second, like, where do we stand? Like, you're mad at me or this is distance. Like, how much space is, I want to say, allowed? How much space is the healthy amount of space to give, and how much is it like as a person to be like, wait a second, like what is it, a month? Is it 6 months? Is it 2 years? Right? Like, if you're like, actually, like, this woman doesn't even like me at all, and I'm just like, she's just using me to, like, I don't know, like, there's, like, that just came up as, like, where is, because I
Mhm,
love the lines. I love to know where the
mhm,
lines are. So I'm like, where's the line? We're like, what is it, how much is a man supposed to create space for that? And how much is there like, well, like, we're still married, like, and I know you went on to say, like, wow, marriage is really this amazing portal for all this healing and blah, blah, blah. And 100%. But also, there's two people. You don't go into a marriage to like use the other person as your portal, like, there's also a marriage. It's not just a trip for you to heal your childhood and use this person. So,
yeah.
right.
Oh, I think you just answered it with what you just said there at the end, which is what I was actually gonna say before you got there, which is how much is too much? It's not a matter of time. It's a matter, I'm gonna speak for
Right.
the masculine. It's a matter of, is this still in service to me? Is this still in service to my evolution? Meaning, every moment that meaning it's all in service to your evolution. The question is it in service to my evolution to continue to stay here and be in this, in the distance, and in the moodiness and the bitchiness and in the testing? Some of it may be healthy, some of it may be toxic, some of it conscious, some unconscious. Is there growth in it here for me? Great, then I'm here for it, right? It's the moment where I'm
Mhm.
no longer gaining anything from her process, that I could say goodbye. Like, this is now totally your process, and I send you forth with love. And that will, by the way, be the continuation of it being in service to me, meaning now you being separated from me will be in service to me and my continued evolution. So in that context of understanding what marriage is really there for and how you're really here to trigger me and to help me to evolve, and I'm here to help you evolve, not in the sense of like, come, let me take your hand, I'm going to help you evolve, but by being my fullest self.
The friction.
Yeah. And you being your fullest self, the friction that creates and the growth that spawns is the purpose of it all. So it's not like how long is the correct amount of time. For one guy, it might be 1 hour and he's like, peace out, bitch. Right. And another guy might be 30 years.
But he's just growing with her.
Well, even if he's not actually growing, the growth opportunity is there. What happens actually is for many people, they're in it for 30 years and they're not actually taking the growth opportunity. But then you say, well, why aren't they leaving? What a shitty marriage. There's no sex, there's no love, there's no affection. Why the hell are they staying together? Right? What's the point of it all? And from what I've seen in the work that I do, it's that the men know intuitively. Maybe
That there
intuitively is
is
the
work
wrong
for them.
word, but it's like on a very, very, very deep, profound soul level that the key to their work, like the key to unlocking their own birth is through this woman, through this relationship. And that's why they don't leave.
But they've been
Now they
stalling.
haven't figured it out. They need a hand. No one's shown them where the keyhole is. No one's helped them to shape the key to get it into the keyhole. And they don't know if they
Mhm.
need to turn to the right or to the left, if they need to lift up the handle while they do it simultaneously. Do they need to push the door in? Do they need to pull the door out? They have no idea. They need some guidance. That's why they're still there. And many men will be like, "Oh, I'm doing it for the kids," or like, "I feel bad for her." No, that's not. I mean, yeah, that might be mixed in and part of your confusion on like a conscious level, but fundamentally, the reason why you aren't leaving is because you know that you're not going to be better off without her. If you really believe that you have fulfilled whatever correction, healing that you can fulfill, your evolution that was necessary in this relationship was complete, you would move on, and you would move on in a complete way without victimhood, without blaming, without acrimony. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be vicious or difficult. You would feel whole and you would feel complete and you would move on. There wouldn't be conflict around it. The reason you're staying is because you know that you haven't graduated the program. So yeah. So how long is too long? It's just it's not a time. It's not a matter of time. It's a matter of a man's inner knowing, which to put it more bluntly is a man being extremely honest with himself. Like I think that's the work for men. Like I think the work for men, all of the masculinity in men's work, you could say it in so many different words and they'll all be true and I'll be able to find the resonance with this message. But I think that the service of men in this world, the mission of men in this world is an absolute and total radical commitment to truth, to pursuing truth and your truth as a soul and a body moving through time and space in this world. So, what's the truth here? right? Have I fully shown up in all the ways that I need to show up and have all the parts of me fully come online, right? Have I actually alchemized my fear and my insecurities and really, looked at my shame and integrated it and brought it out of the shadows, right? Or am I still operating from that place? So it's very easy to look outside at your spouse, which is easier to see the person in front of you than it is to see yourself, right? I see your face more clearly right now than I don't even see my face at all. But I could totally see your face, and you can't even see your own face, and you're you, and I'm me, and I can't even see my own face. So it's so easy to just open our eyes and look out and see what we see, and it just becomes this canvas upon which we project
Mhm.
all of our own insecurities, all of our deficiencies. And so I'll look out and say, well, it's her problem, it's her fault. If she would only be X, Y, and Z, then I would totally be able to evolve in X, Y, and Z way. But you got to be honest and say, like, look inside and be like, have I really done the work that this friction and this woman, this relationship is initiating me into, inviting me into, or am I just looking at it like she's the channel through which God is punishing me? God chose to punish me, and she volunteered to be the conduit for all the punishment, pain, and dissonance that I'm going to experience in my life. And so, like, I hate you, but I want you and I need you to soothe me, but I hate you. So I push you away, right? And I'm cruel to you, and I'll create all this, distance, and then I'm like begging you to come closer. But really, what it is I'm using you. If I can't be with you in the totality of the friction and the ways in which you're being the channel, quote unquote, for my pain, which is obviously the victimhood mentality versus the channel for my initiation into adulthood, into myself, into birthing myself, then I'm gonna destroy you along the way. I'm gonna basically try to rip out the parts of you. I'm gonna look at the earth and say the earth is a bad place, but deep inside the earth, there's some gems and diamonds, and I want to rape the earth for its wealth. But I'm going to throw away the dirt. I don't want the dirt. I just want the diamond. Sorry, buddy. There is no diamond without dirt. And if you're mining the earth for the diamond and you're discarding the earth and you're cursing the earth while you're digging in for the diamond, then you don't understand what a diamond is. You don't understand what the earth is. You don't understand anything. And you're basically raping and pillaging the earth. You're raping and pillaging your woman for what you consider to be good and godly, what you consider to be helpful and necessary for your process while discarding the rest. I wanted to say that's dangerous territory, but that's where most, I would say probably many, I don't know most, I can't, I'm not a statistician here, but like many people all around us are living their marriages in exactly that way without consciousness. It's not happening on a conscious level.
Yeah. Just it's like totally feel everything you're saying. You know, it's like there's like this like balance, and it really all comes down to just like self, checking in with self, support to be in touch with yourself if needed, you know, because I remember, but I forgot the depth of it.
Maybe sit up, babe.
Why?
Kundalini.
Oh, Kundalini. So good. Like, what is coming to my mind is that like, and that's why when we had this like week of distance, I feel so good about it because I feel my own health in it, and I feel our own actually how good our marriage is. Like I'm like, nah, actually, like I don't care that we're disconnected. Like, and like I feel the security. I'm like, awesome. Like I'm okay. And also like, yeah, I'm pissed off about things, and I'm not afraid to feel it. So you know, because are you like everything in life, there are seasons, there's a wintering, there's an ebb and a flow, and you're going to be married to someone for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years and be on this like baseline, like this like straight path of just constant flow and connection. Like, is there's not going to be up and down and just in and out and all the different, you're not going to go on journeys in all of those years. Like, are you just going to be like frozen? So, of course, there needs to be space in a relationship for each person to expand, grow, change, feel, pull back, come closer. There needs to be space, you know? So, like, I feel that. And I think it's scary. People are scared of that. People want that control. They want all the cups filled. They want to just know where you stand at all times. And by doing that, they actually take away the opportunity for actually really goodness because the pullback is only the momentum for the forward and all of that. And the staying still is so, it might be like soothing, because there's like security and control, but it's so sterile. So, um, but then again, what was coming to mind is like there needs to be areas and space to play and grow, but also like not to gaslight yourself or, into like when things are not that they're just crossing a line or that you're like, oh no, but marriage needs place to play and grow, like you get what I'm saying? Where it's like things are happening for too long or not feeling. I mean, it's kind of you already answered it before, where it's like when it's but it's like it's just basically the same question. It's not really a question. I'm just like feeling into like that, like sort of how a person could like gaslight themselves into being like how a man could be like taking complete abuse and
Mm,
shit while basically saying, well, marriage and she needs space. Like it's like there's so much, but there's also important that you're like,
right.
like it's like there's such a, it's not
This is
really a
where the truth,
fine line, but it's
yeah,
like,
truth
you
comes.
don't want to be like not tolerating her fullness, but you also don't want to be tolerating abuse, or things that cross a line. And so like, you know,
But the key here is not cross a line.
right.
There is no a line, right? It's like,
Your
Saudi,
line.
is this normal behavior,
Hmm.
right? Like men ask me, like they'll send me like a screenshot from their wife. Is this considered normal? It's like,
Hmm.
why does that matter? It has nothing to do. It's like, what's your line? Is it
Exactly.
hurting you? That's all that matters. It
Right.
doesn't matter if what your wife is doing doesn't hurt me. Is it hurting you? And it could be that you evolve to a place where you actually go back and like apologize to her for the fact of the way that you react. But like, where are you right now? And if you're not ever going to be in where you are right now, you're not going to show your wife your truth and allow yourself to be messy and exposed, then you're not going to have intimacy. You're not going to have a relationship. So it's never about like what's the objective truth in relationships. Like what is the correct way? What is the incorrect way? What's wrong or right? What's healthy or unhealthy? It's where are you?
Right, but I don't think is it hurting you is the measurement because things could be hurting you and not
Yeah, I'm using.
something, yeah, not something
Yeah.
that needs to be stopped or it's not like, like
Well,
meaning
there you're going back into the
right,
objective. You're using an objective
yeah,
ruler for somebody's
yeah,
subjective experience. Whatever it is that they're experiencing, if it's hurt or pain or, you know, the point is it's not about an external barometer. It's whatever's
right,
happening inside of you. I'm not saying if the person's hurt, therefore they have to put an end to it. It could be they're hurting and they just say like it hurts to not be connected with you.
right,
And then it could come to a point where a person's like, this is feeling like my wife is having a process, but in her process, she's not in any way considering me or the relationship.
right,
And I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm not being considered. Could be like the man brings up the fact, for example, that he's feeling distant and like whatever just happened right
mhm,
here, right? Like I could bring up the fact that I'm feeling disconnected from you and that I wish we were more connected. And you could be dismissive and you could get defensive and you could get offensive. Oh, you're such a pussy. You and you with your connection. You always need a connection. You never let me be. You never let me have my own self, right? And like take all your own childhood wounding and your own journey and just like project it onto me and make me out to be the bad guy. And it's like, okay, that happens one time, fine, you're triggered. Twice, okay, like you're in a process. Three times and on,
mm,
consistent. And each time I bring it up to you, the fact that the first time happened and the second time happened and the third time happened, and you're even more dismissive and you gaslight me, well, then it doesn't, it's now we're not in the realm of you having a process or both of us being in the container of a relationship for our own personal evolution and for the healing of the cosmos. Like now it's not relational anymore. The whole point is that it's relational, whether you're in the pain or the anger or the ecstasy or the agony, but that it's happening in a relational way. Even the distance, like your distance where what you started out with, you're allowing you're allowing your distance to be brought into the relationship. So as long as the distance is still somewhat in the context of a relationship. Now, obviously, there's a point where a person says, I want my distance outside of the context of the
mhm,
relationship. I don't want this to be vis-a-vis a man who's trying to be connected with me. Like I'm done, right? You can't to that place. And many other women have come to that place. And there's many other women who wish they were there or want to come to that place and, are really fully admitted to themselves who take steps toward it. But that's a different thing. And then when you come to that place, which is actually a kindness because it's clarity and it's kind to be clear and it's what is it? It's clear as kind and kind as clear. You when you get there and you can actually own it and admit it and communicate it, there's health in that, even if it's a total break, quote unquote total. There's no total
mhm.
break, but a total break from the current relationship or the current, not necessarily the relationship, the person, but the iteration of the relationship that you're in this moment.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that this is opening up maybe something different or greater, but Like, I don't think that it comes down to, like, right, our understanding of what marriage is and what we're really getting ourselves into and what it means when 2 souls come together. But, like, I don't think that separation always has to be because of imminent divorce, you know? I think that there's so much if
Mm,
we, normalize the need for space, we normalize the need for periods of actually separation, not that I wanna get divorced, but that I just need to find myself a little bit. I need space from being in constant connection and not even connection, what's the word? Just like parallel living with another human. And like, if there was more permission for, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've been more inward last week and like, fuck off. Like, seriously, like, I don't care that you're like, oh, connection. I'm not saying that you've been giving me a hard time. It's like, oh my god, like, I just need to be in my own little cocoon for a bit, and, like, just I'm sorry if that's, like, breaking the law, you know? Like, I have that feeling. I'm just like, "No, like, I'm sorry if, like, oh my god, I just wanna, like, put my headphones in at night and I can watch my show by myself." Like, holy shit, like, I'm my own fucking person outside of this marriage. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, "Oh, we're not connected." I'm like, "Okay." Like, "Okay." You know?
right. You're not freaking out about it.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, now if I find myself desiring this for the next month every night, I might start to be like, "Wait, like, what's really going on?" But I'm not doing that right now, and I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, like, I just love to be in my own little silo, and I don't want you around me sometimes," you know, like and can we normalize that a little bit, you know, especially if we get into the whole women's cycles and times of the month and when, you know, and obviously that's built into our Jewish culture and tradition, and laws. But, you know, like, even like, I always say, like, our separation was, like, yeah, it was really tumultuous in a lot of ways and just scary, but it was like, everyone should get like, what an opportunity
Yeah.
to spend some time with yourself, like, oh my god, and why do we have to wait till we're on the near divorce to do that? Like, there should be, like, sometimes I'm like, let's just do, like, a little separation again where, like, we just have some also, you're like, just, like, a little bit of distance, a little bit more, like, you know, pursuing each other in a different way, like, it's a lot. It's a lot to live with someone all of the time, even in the utmost best situation. So, like, is there space to normalize that as well? Like, and then what happens when we don't normalize it is that it spirals, where a woman is like, "Ugh, I'm feeling, like, irritated by my husband and, like, really don't wanna be around him right now. Like, oh, maybe I don't like him anymore. Or maybe I need to find somebody else." Or maybe, like, because we're not like, "Okay," just like, "Okay, yeah, like, you're annoying me. Like, ugh, go away." You know, like, that's okay. Like, are we supposed to spend the next 100 years together just wanting to be around each other every second? Like, I mean, I pretty much wanna be around you, like, 99.9% of the time, so, like, let's all have a little bit of grace right now, you know? Like, but I think that what happens is because we don't give that space, because we don't normalize that it only happens through a divorce where people didn't even necessarily need to get divorced. All they wanted was like a little bit of time alone, you know? But then
Yeah.
they was too scared to ask for it. So they got divorced.
Or they asked for it and the
Eh.
man was too scared because his sense of safety came from the interfacing. And the moment that there was that absence of that overt stimulation and feedback, he thinks that means it's a divorce. He's like, if I agree to space, then I'm agreeing
Mhm.
to a divorce, which I had that experience. I'm staying with you. And so I think women more often ask for a separation. I mean, they're always the ones to initiate, not always, but overwhelmingly, they're the ones to initiate separation and to initiate divorce. But the men freak out because they're in the overt connection, believing that they're connected. And she's saying, like, he's confused. Like, what do you mean we're not connected? We're doing all these things, and this is the ways I'm showing up. But for her, it's energetic. So she's because it's energetic for her, she's able to be in a separation and actually stay connected or create deeper connection. But for him, because it's about the surface interactions and, let's say touch or words of affirmation, whatever it is, he's experiencing the absence of that as a total and absolute break. And so he pushes against the separation, which can actually just deepen the energetic connection, which is the very thing she's looking for, and help to solve for everything else. But I think you said it perfectly. It's like most of the time, all people need is a little bit of space emotionally, spiritually,
Mhm.
psychologically, physically, sexually, geographically, just some space. But because there's such a taboo around that, it's what happens is people's nervous systems freak out because they're
What does
so
this
afraid to
mean?
be in quote unquote disconnection, but it's not actually disconnection. And I think really that is part of the depth and brilliance of the laws of Anita and how that's actually just scripted in and built in a communal sense where it's not like each individual trying to figure it out for themselves because then you never really know where to put the boundary and then you have to, doubt yourself, or your partner could take it personally, like, is it about me, like, is it because I'm bloated? It's like, no.
Mhm.
There's like a divine, beyond logic, not in the sense that it doesn't make sense, but beyond the individual subjective experience of us in our relationship in this particular cycle. These are the laws to safeguard on a communal, global, conscious level sacredness of separation, the sacredness of space, and that there really truly is no connection to other if there is no space from other, because space from other allows for connection with self, and you cannot have intimacy with an other if you yourself aren't an other. You have to be other to create that connection. Just literally the purpose of all of creation. There was nothing but God. Why did he create a world? He literally wanted friction. He literally wanted there to be an other. He wanted there to be separation. Created the world for the separation, because the separation allows for a depth of connection and intimacy that cannot exist if there is no distance.
Yeah, totally. I will say though that it's not always so clean. Just that I know um I'm telling you I want space, and I'm like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, just like want to do my own thing and I want to be in my own space, and like, can we just normalize that and all of that
It's like we could
filling
normalize it
val
if you say it that nicely sitting on this couch on this podcast.
No, but I mean, like, so all that's true, but I'm also telling you that you're doing things that upset me. I'm disappointed in you. I wish you would show up for me differently in X, Y, and Z. So it's not just that, like there's, and oftentimes in a marriage it's not so simple, but it's both of those things that's happening. And sometimes that happens where I share those things with you and we're in more connection and closeness. And at this moment, I'm sharing them with you and feeling like I want a little more distance. So it's not always so clean, like, "Oh, just space." Like, probably it's never gonna be space. There might be also an undertone of annoyance or an actual specific thing, but that also doesn't mean that the space is a problem. It doesn't mean that, "Oh, we're going through," like, it's always a gift, and the more permission we can give for space, the less space has to get toxic, less space has to, you know, brew into something else and resentment and all that stuff, or it's just like, "Yeah, space, it's okay." And, but yeah, I just wanted to, like, just remind, just you and also, like, this conversation, I'm like, it's not also, like, rainbows and sunshine, like, "Oh, space," like, it's hard even for you, I'm asking for I'm not even asking for it, I'm just, like, signaling that kind of just want more space, and I'm also telling you ways that I'm, like, kinda pissed off at you. So, it's harder to show up and give that, and it's harder to feel as safe in the space, when there's that too, 'cause it's not just my cycle, it's not just my hormones, it's not just feeling like I want my alone time. There's stuff. There's stuff there, you know? And it's okay. The intention and the plan is to be married for a long time. So there's time, there's space, there
We're going to wrap up in a few minutes. So, any closing thoughts?
no. What about you?
I have opening thoughts.
What?
I have something that came up around what you were saying, and it would have opened up a whole nother thing, and we could just keep on going and keep on tripping. So, I
Right.
could just leave it there.
Okay.
Could address it in the next podcast. But what I was going to say was, I mean, the thing that just came to me, I was going to blurt it out while you're talking. It's just almost like a joke at the end. It's like, and yet you're climbing into my bed at night. So it's like, oh, I don't understand, right? Like guys are like, "Oh, I don't understand. Like, she wants space or she doesn't want space, right? It's like, you said you want space, so now I got to push you away. Like, it's like, if you understand the greater process that's at play, it's not like connection, disconnection, space, not space. It's like kind of like you're saying, it's a slightly separate point, but it's like, it's not linear. It's not homogenous. It's not black or white. Like all of the space is in service to connection, even if it just means connection to yourself. And even if it means to connect in connection to yourself and to the ultimate disconnection of me, it's all still connection. So you just have to allow the space for the space taking to take shape and form and to unfold in the ways that it does, just like
Mhm.
everything ultimately comes down to trust, not trusting another person. I trust you. No, you will disappoint me. You will fail me over and over again. It's trusting the universe, trusting the all, trusting there's a much larger, more cosmic picture that's playing itself out that goes way beyond the daily, highs and lows of a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what's coming to mind is like, just can you let whatever is be what it is, And it's like if you are having certain feelings toward your spouse and you want space, can you let that be what it is and allow it to unfold? Or do you right away have a certain outcome of your life that you want in your mind, or a destination, or a certain rule that this is, I will never get divorced or whatever it is. And therefore, when you have a feeling or when you have a situation arise, you don't just allow it to be and then be like, oh, interesting. Okay, I wonder what this means. I wonder where this will take me. But what I do know is that right now, this is my truth. Can you just allow that to be? Or do right away parts of you come and say, no, 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 no. This is already your second marriage, or this is your, whatever it is, whatever story that just comes. And we all have them to some degree or another coming in and right away squelching that. And then what happens is that you don't even sometimes it's a conscious process, sometimes it's unconscious. It's before you even allow yourself to have the feeling. There's like rules about what feelings you're allowed to have. But then all of that is in the relationship. It doesn't go away. If you need space and you deny that need for yourself, it doesn't disappear. You can't like squelch feelings. What you can do is you can push them down, but then they come out as something else. They come out many years later having like festered and grown and become more powerful and strong and toxic. Like there's no so like can you allow whatever is to just be what it is? As scary as that is, as uncertain as that is, because I don't know what this means. I want space. And here I am on my third week of wanting space and I'm still wanting space. And this is not really making sense with like my plan for my life. But here I am in it and just allow it to evolve. Even if that evolves you into a marriage with somebody else, into whatever it evolves into, like, what are you fighting? What are you fighting? It's because you had an idea of how you thought it was going to work out. And yet your whole body and your system, which is basically God, is playing something out for you in a different way. So you're going to reject the truth of now for some black and white, from some destination that you were on the path to that never works out. Like it never works out. It works out in the sense that you can like say you got there, but like, what have you lost along the way? And what do you even have? You have to, things that are happening are real. Like if you are on a journey and you're putting your destination in a map and you want to get somewhere and you get to the bridge and it's broken, meaning half of it is in the water, too fucking bad. Like you can't go there anymore. Now, are you going to be like that rigid person who's like, no, 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 this is where I want to go. It can't be true. It can't be true. The bridge is here, and like just still go that way. Like it's just, you have to accept whatever's in front of you as truth, as real. And the more we do that, it's scary because you're like, shoot, I don't even know how I'm going to get to my destination anymore. This was the only bridge there, but like, okay, like, yeah, I hear you, but also like, just whatever is. So like, stop trying to deny reality and play God. Like Hashem is orchestrating for this. Hashem put that feeling in your body of wanting space. Just let it play out. It's going to be more gorgeous than you could ever imagine if you allow it to be what it is. But if you try to pretend and force and hide and be the wife you thought you were going to be, it's just going to explode on one level or another, if you're lucky. And if you're not lucky, it's going to just be this forceful, tense, negative energy for the rest of your life.